Welcome to my class. Today I am going to explain you the chapter 4th of your Hornbill book. The name of the chapter is Landscape of the Soul, and this chapter is written by Nathalie Troveroy. If we talk about the author, Nathalie Troveroy is the wife of the Belgian ambassador to India. She is an art historian. She studies Chinese art, history, medieval Rome and early medieval art. Okay, so that is why in the chapter we will discuss about the difference between the Chinese art and the European art. If we talk about the introduction, okay, the brief of the lesson, this chapter written by Nathalie Troveroy, okay, is about how different the Chinese art form from the European art form. Okay, the writer uses two stories to make a contrast. Okay, the writer uses two stories. European art is about producing an actual view. European art is about producing an actual view, whereas Chinese art is about not creating a real landscape. Chinese art is related with the spirit. European art is an artist's way to let viewers show exactly what he wants them to see in the landscape. Okay, but Chinese art is the artist's spiritual and inner voice, where you can travel from any point and it lets the viewer create a path for their imagination. So Chinese arts related with the spirit, okay, related with the soul. This chapter divided into two parts, okay, in first part we talk about difference between the Chinese art and European art, Taoism. Okay, in the second part the author writes about the concepts of art brut. Okay, very important concept, art brut, which means the art of those people who have no right to be artists, as they have received no formal training. Okay, yet they show talent and artistic insight. Okay, they are the artists who think out of the box. Their work are totally different from those of their predecessor. In simple terminology, this art can be called an unorthodox art. Okay, in this section the author talks about Naik Chand's creation. Okay, his creation of rock garden at Chandigarh. Okay, rock garden at Chandigarh is a best example or expression of art brut or outsider art or unorthodox art. Okay, so this is about the chapter. Let's talk about the characters. Okay, first of all, Wu Daozi, an 8th century Chinese landscape painter, okay, disappeared inside his last painting. Okay, is a Chinese landscape painter and he disappeared inside his last painting. Next one is Emperor Xuanzong. Okay, Emperor Xuanzong admired Daozi's painting but not an active participant in it. Okay, actually Wu Daozi wanted the emperor to actively participate in the landscape. Okay, but emperor admired Daozi's painting but not actively participated in it. Okay, third one is the Quentin Matse. He was a 15th century Belgian blacksmith who changed his profession to become a delicate realist painter and marry the woman he loved. Okay, so Quentin Matse was the best example or was known as a European painter. Okay, because he painted in reality. Okay, he became a famous delicate realist painter. Okay, only because of a girl, because he married a girl, okay, of a painter, and his and girl's father wanted son-in-law of the same profession. That's why Quentin Matsy became a delicate realist, famous painter, okay, of the European art. So this is all about the characters. Let's talk about the summary. So I've divided the summary into these points. Okay, first of all, comparison between European and Chinese art. Comparison between European and Chinese art. This chapter is a comparative study of European and Chinese painting. Okay, it touches upon various subtleties of reality and art. Art is one of the forms of expression like poetry, music, and dance. All these forms of expression have an abstract nature as they can't be defined and have to be felt or experienced. Okay, art cannot be defined. It have to be felt or experienced. The chapter has three important areas of discussion. Okay, first, anecdotes related to Chinese and European painting, Taoism, and how one of philosophical doctrines of Taoism called Shanshui. Okay, and Shanshui is reflected in Chinese painting. Okay, Chinese painting reflected Shanshui, which is based upon the philosophical doctrines of Taoism. Okay, second point is an anecdote about Chinese painter Wu Daozi. Okay, as I've already told you, Wu Daozi was a 8th century landscape painter. Okay, the 8th century Chinese emperor Xuanzong once commissioned a painter named Wu Daozi to paint a landscape. Okay, when the painting was ready, the emperor was invited to appreciate it. He enjoyed looking at the forest, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds, man on hilly paths, birds in flight, etc. depicted in the painting. Okay, emperor admired the physical beauty of the painting as depicted in the landscape. But the painter was not satisfied. Okay, and he invited the attention of the emperor toward a cave in the painting. Okay, because emperor Wu Daozi was not satisfied with it, because he wanted to see he wanted the king to see the landscape from his own point of view, from Wu Daozi's point of view. Okay, so he invited the attention of the emperor toward a cave in the painting, inside which the painter said resided a soul, spirit. The painter clapped his hand, causing the entrance to the cave. Okay, then the painter said, the inside is splendid. The inside of the cave is splendid beyond anything words can convey. Please let me show your majesty the way. Okay, the painter entered the cave and disappeared. Okay, the cave door closed and the painting disappeared from the wall before the emperor could move. Okay, so in this way, in his last painting, okay, Wu Daozi also disappeared, okay, with his painting. Okay, actually he wanted the king to see the inner beauty, to see the inner soul of the landscape, but emperor admired the physical beauty of the landscape. Okay, and Wu Daozi was not satisfied with it, and he entered in the cave and disappeared with the painting. Okay, so third point is an anecdote about European painter Quentin Matsy. As I've already told you, a 15th century Belgian blacksmith named Quentin Matsy fell in love with the painter's daughter. Okay, knowing that her father would not accept him because of his profession, because he was a blacksmith. Once he secretly entered the painter's studio and painted such a realistic fly on the artist's panel that the master tried to shoo away it before he realized that it was not the real one. It was not a real fly. Okay, Quentin was accepted by the master as an apprentice. Okay, he married his beloved and soon became famous for his realism in painting. Okay, so Quentin Massey's painting actually show the European art. Okay, where the realism is there. Okay, he painted the fly as the way fly used to look. Okay, so soon he became famous for his realism in the painting. Okay, next is meaning of the tales. Meaning of the tales related to the painting. Such stories as that about Wu Daozi are very common in China's classical education. It was through such stories that great master made abstract concepts concrete. Such tales reveal that art has an inner life, meaning, or soul. Only when one is able to see that inner life can one understand its true meaning. Okay, only when one is able to see the inner beauty, inner life, can understood its true meaning. The emperor had appreciated the painting only from what he saw. Okay, emperor had appreciated the physical beauty of the painting. He could only see the body of the painting, whereas the painter tried to show him the soul. Okay, the inner life and meaning of the painting. Similarly, Quentin Matsy signified illusionic likeness in European painting. Okay, illusion. Okay, realism. Quentin Massey showed realism in his painting, illusionistic likeness. Okay. Next is basis. The same holds good for the story about the frightening likeness of a dragon. Okay, there is also a story related to the dragon, to a real one, which prevented a Chinese painter from drawing its eye. Okay, a Chinese painter frightened to draw dragon's eye. Okay, because as he felt that if he would do it, then the dragon would see him, attack him, and run away from there. Okay, so these are some of the tales related to the Chinese painting and the European painting. Next point is basis of the Chinese painting. Chinese paintings usually are based on the philosophy of Taoism. As I already told you, Chinese paintings are usually based upon the philosophy of Taoism. Taoism is a word that is made by the two words, Tao and ism. Okay, Tao. Tao means path or the way into the mystery of the universe. Okay, the emperor may rule over territories, but the artist alone knows the way within. Okay, the life has no meaning unless we undertake the inner spiritual journey. When Wu Daozi said, "Let me show you the way," he meant the way to the inner meaning art of the mystery of the universe. He actually wanted to reveal the inner beauty of the landscape. Okay, they do not this is the spirit of the Chinese painting. Okay, they do not reproduce an actual view, but use a real landscape to say something more. Ambiguity is there in Chinese painting. Okay, they do not produce an actual view. Actually, from a real landscape, they wanted to say more. A Chinese painter therefore wants the viewer to take plural points to enter into his painting and travel in it. Okay, he wants the active participation of the viewer to watch the landscape, to see the landscape, not only physical but mental also. Okay, his landscape is not a copy of a real landscape, it is a representation of a reality, of an inner reality, a spiritual and the conceptual space. Okay, now concept of Taoism. What do you mean by Taoism? Yes, very important one. According to Taoism, this universe is composed of two complementary poles. Okay, this universe is composed of two complementary poles, yin, a feminine one, and the yang, a masculine one. Okay, the interaction of these two energies, the interaction of yin and yang, masculine and the feminine energies, makes the universe. As we all know that, okay, the relation between the relation or the interaction between the feminine and the masculine aspects creates the universe. Their meeting point called the middle void. Okay, and their meeting point called the middle void also holds a great significance. Okay, though it is often overlooked. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayam. Okay, in pranayam we used to breathe in, retain and breathe out. The retain part is the middle void where the meditation occur. Okay, the retain is a middle void and the significant because the meditation occurred here. Okay, this void is essential. Okay, nothing can be happen without it. Okay, so this is a concept of the Taoism upon which all the Chinese paintings based upon. Okay, in Taoism, a landscape is called shanshui. Okay, when a landscape is painted in the philosophy of Taoism, okay, that's landscape in Taoism, a landscape is called shanshui. Okay, shan is a mountain, shui is a water. However, it doesn't represent a real landscape. It is the Taoist view of the universe. Okay, to understand the Chinese painting, one must understand Taoism. Okay, the interaction between the yin and the yang. So, the mountains and water in the Chinese painting are representative of shanshui, and the unpainted space is representative of the middle void. Okay, mountain is compared with the yin, okay, and water is compared with the yang. Okay, so and unpainted space is represented of the middle void where the interaction between yin and yang take place. Okay, man is a medium of communication between the two complementary poles of the universe, and you can see his presence too in the Chinese painting. You can see the presence of man. Okay, a very important aspect of the universe. Okay, in the Chinese painting. Next one is art brut or an outsider art. Next is art brut or an outsider art. As already told you the meaning of art brut. Okay, a painting or an art by those who don't take any kind of formal training. Okay, you know, firstly, the art brut concept was created by French painter Jean Duffy. Okay, he first created the concept of art brut or an outsider art in 1940s. Okay, then the art of the untrained visionary was of minority interest. Okay, the outsider art has gradually become the fastest growing area of interest in the international modern art. Okay, this particular art bread, this particular type of this particular type of creation, this is a particular work, is a type of work or the creation of those who have not right to be artists. Okay, as they have not received any formal training. Okay, yet they show talent and artistic insight. Okay, they show excellent insight, excellent talent. Okay, the work of 80 years old Nek Chand, okay, is India's biggest contribution to outsider art, okay, or you can say unorthodox art. He has made a garden sculpted with stone and recycled material. Okay, it is known to the world as a rock garden. Okay, rock garden at Chandigarh by Nek Chand is a perfect example or the biggest contribution of India in outsider art. Okay, a UK based magazine, pioneer in outsider art publication, features Nek Chand's and his rock garden sculpture Women by Waterfall, sculpture of women by waterfall on its anniversary issues cover page. Okay, his art has been recognized as an outstanding testimony of the difference. Okay, a single man can make when he live his dreams. Okay, the Swiss Commission for UNESCO will be honoring him by way of a 5-month interactive show of his work. Okay, Nek Chand says that, in the last, what the Nek Chand says that the walking through the garden and watching people enjoy his creation is the biggest reward for him. Okay, these are the words of the Nek Chand, that for him the biggest reward is that when he saw people walking in his garden and praising his creation. Okay, this is the biggest reward for him, for Nek Chand. Okay, so this is related with the art bread. Okay, and India's contribution in this outsider art. Okay, by the Nek Chand's rock garden at Chandigarh. Okay, now I want to show you some of the images related to it. These are the images. Okay, sculptures at rock garden. Okay, he made these sculptures with stones, with useless things. Okay, beautiful sculptures sculpted here with stones. Okay, women at the waterfalls. This is a cover page of UK based magazine on its anniversary. That shows the concept of art bread or unorthodox art or an outsider art. Okay. Now if we talk about the theme of this story, okay, the writer in the chapter contrasts Chinese art with European art by recounting 2 stories about Chinese art and 1 story about European art. Okay, the Europeans want a perfect likeness, whereas in Asia or in China, art is the essence of life and spirit. Okay, Chinese art requires the active participation of the viewer, both physically and mentally, to understand it. Okay, so this is all about the theme of the chapter. This also tells us about the concept of the art bread and outsider art or unorthodox art. Okay, so this is all about the chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.